Hey guys, it's Matt from the Tej and Matt platform. I'm joined by Tej from Tej Talks.
Hi everyone.
If you can't tell.
Yeah.
If you can't tell at all. And over the next 3, 4, 5 videos, we're going to be talking about raising finance. I'm very honoured to be able to speak to Tej, who's been raising a lot of finance recently for a lot of deals. So I thought we'd have a chat and work out what the best things to do, what the things not to do, and to give you some tips and pointers. The first thing that's really important to be aware of when raising finance is that you've got to be wealthy up here before you get started in raising any finance, whether it's in property or business, because if you want to have £1 million, you've got to be worth £1 million in your head before you actually get it in your fingers. Because otherwise, as soon as you get that money, if you haven't been wealthy up here first, then people go and spend it. You see that with lottery winners, don't you?
Yeah.
They go and completely, throw away millions of pounds just because they don't know how to handle it. So Tej, tell us about your mindset when it came to money, because you've been raising quite a bit of money over the last year, and it's the first time you've done it. So have you had a mindset before getting into property that was maybe changing?
Yes. Okay. I've never had to raise finance before. For my recruitment business, it was just organic and it didn't need money. So people loaning me money to then get an interest, at first I was like, no. Yeah. Why? Let's go buy a house. But then I'm like, hold on, mortgage lenders exist, bridging lenders exist. So therefore, actually, it probably took a good few months of me being like, oh no, hold on, people will loan you money. And actually, I don't think you really ever truly kind of believe it until it's in your account, or until the solicitor's like, yeah, we've completed, and you're like, but I didn't put any money in.
What just happened?
How did this happen? So at the beginning, it was definitely a challenge, but by the time it came to me raising finance, I think my mindset had naturally shifted. Interviewing people like this on my podcast, I'd heard over and over and over again, I've raised $1 million, I've raised $500,000, I've raised this, I've raised that, and it was just in my account, next day, done. So yeah, I think naturally hearing people kind of changed my mindset. But even as I was raising finance, there were times where people would invest in me, and I'd kind of say to my friend who maybe knew the investor as well, and I'd say, was it that easy? Did you literally speak to them on the phone once and then there was money in your... Yeah. I was like, she's like, you don't believe it because it's never happened to you. Yeah. And now it has. You'll believe how easy it can be to raise finance. So yeah, there's definitely a mindset you have to change before going for it. You have to have the confidence to be like, hold on, I'm giving someone X amount of interest. They're also winning. Yeah, I get a house, but I also get a headache. They don't. So it's kind of understanding the whole ecosystem. And once you speak to investors and you actually understand, hey, why are you not buying houses? Why are you just investing? It then shifts your mindset. But if you're not confident, if you don't believe that you're helping them win, then you won't be able to raise money.
No, I truly agree. And actually, I think when it comes to that, getting the money in the bank is the big thing. And you're right, our largest investors that work with us is the easiest money to raise because they understand what you're doing, and it can just be a quick phone call to say, we've got this deal, are you interested? And they're like, yep, it fits our strategy, and they invest.
There's money,
and then there's the money. And sometimes it's the kind of the smaller amounts, it's the £10,000-20,000 that come in dribs and drabs, and people are a bit more precious about smaller amounts of monies, which is quite rightly so, because that might be a lot of money to them. And so when they invest it into a project, then obviously that's a big deal. So I think it does come down to the mindset of the investor as well as you as a property developer. But you're right, it has to be seen to be believed.
100%.
I remember when I got my first £5,000 investment about 4 years ago, and that was the best thing ever. Yeah. Now, and when it comes to banking, it's like, oh my God, someone believes in me to be able to do this project. And then obviously when you pay them back, then it's fantastic, because they're like, I'll say thank you very much for the interest, and they're really appreciative, and they're like, well, what's the next deal? Yeah. That's the best time to ask for money again, is when you pay them back.
Exactly. Like, here's the interest, do you want to go again?
Exactly. Yeah. So what areas have you struggled in when raising finance? When it comes to your
mindset?
Your mindset, yeah.
I think it was believing that it would happen, and it would happen so sort of efficiently. At the beginning, I've been at a point where I've had deals exchanged at auction, or I've had offers accepted, and with auctions the clock was ticking. And one was 2 weeks, one was 4 weeks, so kind of normal. I didn't have the money for it. So in that, I mean, my mind was in turmoil because like up front I was just stoic as I am, but in sort of the back of my mind I was like, I've got these deals that I have to buy. Where's the money?
Yeah.
And I think for me, in that moment was a real struggle in my mindset because I was like, in my confident self, I was like, yeah, I'll get the money. But also half of me was thinking, where from, Tej?
Yeah.
Who from? How? And, for me, it was that struggle, which then raised probably excess finance, more than I needed at the time, that then shifted me from that struggle of, how do I do this? How do I do this? To, I know how to do it.
Yeah.
Now I need to pace it so that I don't have too much and it's just sitting in the account doing nothing. I don't think there was any sort of major struggles in my mindset.
Yeah.
I think one of the challenges I think most people will face is what we said before, is that self-belief.
Yeah.
Where maybe I could have negotiated a better rate or a longer time frame, but I was kind of like, oh, I'm getting money. Let me just get the money as best. But then when I look back, I think, nah, I could have done better there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that self-belief which is the biggest blocker I think for most people, and will be the biggest blocker probably until you get that first bit of money.
Yeah.
And it took that turmoil to get through that and get over it.
Well, sometimes when your back's against the wall, then you can pull it out the bag.
Yeah.
And when we still have moments where we're like, we need to raise finance and we don't have it, and we need it for this contractor, or we need it to buy this deal, and we always have to remind ourselves there's so much money out there. So how does it come to me? It's like, come to me. And then we had that conversation a few weeks ago about it, and it was kind of sparked the want to do this kind of chat. But yeah, I think people need to remember that there is an abundance of money out there, and it just needs to come to you. So where is it, and what is the route to getting to you? Yeah. And there are some things that you can do to help you along the way, which we'll cover in the next video. So stay tuned.